여러분 안녕하세요. 대한민국 영어감잡기 프로젝트 데미안과 함께하는 너쉬영북 시간입니다. 이번 시간은 8강 리딩이고요. 27쪽 맨 마지막 문단부터 읽겠습니다. Then I returned to my difficulties and looked my enemy in the eye. I could see him clearly, one eye screwed up, his mouth twisted into a brutal smile, and while I eyed him, becoming more and more convinced of the inevitable, he grew bigger and uglier, and his evil eye lit up with a fiendish glint. He was right next to me until I fell asleep, yet I didn't dream of him, nor of what had happened that day. I dreamed instead that my parents, my sisters, and I were drifting in a boat, surrounded by absolute peace and the glow of a holiday. In the middle of the night, I woke with the aftertaste of this happiness. I could still see my sisters' white summer dresses shimmer in the sun as I fell out of paradise back into reality again, face to face with the enemy with his evil eye. Next morning, when my mother came rushing up shouting that it was late and why was I still in bed, I looked sick. When she asked me whether anything was wrong, I vomited. This seemed to be something gained. I loved being slightly sick, being allowed to lie in bed all morning, drinking chamomile tea, listening to my mother tidy up the other rooms, or Lena deal with the butcher in the hallway. Mornings off from school seemed enchanted, like a fairy tale. The sun playing in the room was not the same sun shut out of school when the green shades were lowered. Yet even this gave me no pleasure today. There was something false about it. If only I could die, but as often before, I was only slightly unwell, and it was of no help. My illness protected me from school, but not from Franz Cromer, who would be waiting for me at 11 in the marketplace. And my mother's friendliness, instead of comforting me, was a distressing nuisance. I made a show of having fallen asleep again in order to be left alone to think. But I could see no way out. At 11, I had to be at the market. At 10, I quietly got dressed and said that I felt better. The answer, as usual under these circumstances, was either I went straight back to bed or in the afternoon, I would have to be in school. I said I would gladly go to school. I had come up with a plan. I couldn't meet Cromer penniless. I had to get hold of my piggy bank. I knew it didn't contain enough, by no means enough. Yet it was something, and I sensed that something was better than nothing, and that Cromer could at least be appeased. In stocking feet, I crept guiltily into my mother's room and took the piggy bank out of her desk. Yet that was not half as bad as what had happened the day before with Cromer. My heart beat so rapidly, I felt I would choke. It did not ease up when I discovered downstairs that the bank was locked. Forcing it was easy. It was merely a matter of tearing the thin tin plate grid, yet breaking it hurt. Only now had I really committed a theft. Until then, I had filched lumps of sugar or some fruit. This was more serious stealing, even though it was my own money I stole. I sensed how I was one step nearer Cromer and his word, how bit by bit everything was going downhill with me. I began to feel stubborn. Let the devil take the hindmost. There was no turning back now. Nervously, I counted the money. In the piggy bank, it had sounded like so much more. but there was painfully little lying in my hand. 65 pennies. I hit the box on the ground floor, held the money clasped in my fist, and stepped out of the house, feeling more different than I had ever felt before when I walked through the gate. I thought I heard someone calling after me from upstairs, but I walked away quickly. 자, 오늘 리딩은 여기까지 하겠습니다. 오늘 영상이 여러분이 영어의 감을 잡는데 도움이 되었다면 여러분 좋아요, 구독 부탁드리고요. 여러분 다음 시간에 또 뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다.